hello. We back with another one. TNA this time. The biggest show of the year for them. Bound for Glory, TNA, Detroit, Michigan. Bigger building. I will say that compared to last year when I went to Bound for Glory in Chicago. So, it's good to see TNA kind of going back into bigger buildings nowadays for pay-per-views and live TV and whatnot. So it's actually great to see that happen again and seeing, just a larger crowd presence around in TNA nowadays. Because I think they were at, at a field house, if I'm not mistaken.
Today? Or you mean on this show?
Yeah, for Bound for Glory.
They're at a university.
Oh, university? Well,
yeah,
it's a pretty big size building.
Yeah, I guess they were in a gym or something. I don't know.
It looked bigger than where they... Well, it's been bigger than recent times for TNA, so I'm kind of glad at least they've been in somewhat bigger buildings nowadays, because, hey, like I said, I had fun at Bound for Glory last year, but at the same time, it's like, hey, it's the biggest show of the year. Y'all ought to go somewhere a little bit bigger. But since TNA has been rebranded since the beginning of the year, it's been better nowadays. I know some would still say that due to the bigger crowd size is due to the whole partnership with WWE, but I'm not so sure about that all the way.
I'd say it's about half and half because I mean they built a lot of buzz at the beginning of the year with the rebrand, but then they kind of squandered it until the partnership started. So it's kind of both sides.
Yeah, because Scott D'Amore helped rebrand it, and then he was gone by the first month.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and the popularity of Joe Hendry helps, I'm sure.
Yeah, that definitely helped.
Yep, definitely the popularity of Joe Hendry definitely helped, because come on, remember Slammiversary was a very big crowd, and even they said on commentary that this is the biggest crowd they've had for Bound for Glory in a few years now. So that's really good to see. So definitely it's definitely nowadays, because usually it's just been really small, but at least they seem to be kind of going a little bit bigger. But yeah, it's a little bit with the partnership with WWE, but at the same time, it's not. Now, anybody see the pre-show?
I saw the end of it.
No, but I know what happened.
Just I guess just to run through it a little bit fast. Because I know the first pre-show match they had was Ash by Elegance and Heather Reckless versus Zaya Brookside and Brinley Reese.
Riveting stuff right there.
Yeah, I know Halloween is coming, so one's dressed the devil, the other one's dressed as an angel, but the match was the match. Like I don't got much to say about it. I just know Ash by Elegance and them won, and they pinned Brinley Reese because what was it? Zaya Brookside started beating up the concierge with his own jacket on the outside of the ring. One thing I did say about when it comes to this whole partnership with NXT, and especially with the women and whatnot, especially with NXT, given that it's so many women they try to put on NXT nowadays, and it's almost like a new one debuting every week. It's like they got kind of no choice but to kind of send them to TNA because they can't fit all of them on TV on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's actually kind of funny that it's the opposite of the AEW thing. It's only women that are going over, where with the AEW thing, it was only men. Like, y'all don't got no men that want to hop over. We did that brief Charlie Dempsey thing, but that was really it.
Yeah, no one else from NXT, I guess, on the men's side hasn't really jumped over to TNA like that. And I don't even want to say Wesley, because Wesley was in this company before as Dez, so I don't really want to count that one all the way. But yeah, now, because now it's like we mostly just seen more NXT women kind of come on to AEW, like Ariana Grace. Well, hey, it's Santino's kid, so it makes sense. But I know like some other NXT women, they've had like Busy Dame on there and like several other people. Because you look at the regular NXT show right now, like 75% of the show is all women.
It's the draw.
Yeah, I guess that's what Sean and them are doing for NXT. I guess that's the draw. People want to see the women for obvious reasons. So, Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, I guess they flood so many, they got to put some on NXT. But yeah, that's not much I got to say about the pre-show match. I know they had the TNA Hall of Fame also. Um, Eric Young did induct Bob Ryder, and he had a really good speech. I know he had a video package with like several other TNA originals, like AJ Styles, James Storm, Abyss, even current ones like Jordan Grace and Kazarian. Basically, he's one of the unsung heroes of TNA. He's been there since the beginning. He had passed away, I believe, a few years ago back in 2020, but they talked about his history from ECW to WCW and how him, Jerry Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett were the ones that really helped create TNA. So he is like one of those like backstage guys, like I said, the unsung heroes that get shit done. And Eric Young had a really great speech about him out there, so well deserved. They also inducted Rhino into the TNA Hall of Fame. Tommy Dreamer was out there to induct him, which I thought was kind of funny. Like when I put in the Dudleys, I took a 3D the next day. I inducted Raven. I took an even flow DDT. Whoever's doing this, the whole always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Yeah, he got tired of it. But yeah, he inducted Rhino, and Rhino basically came out there. It's Detroit, it's his hometown, so he got a big pop. And basically, he just thanked a lot of people. His family, people like Paul Heyman, Jim Cornette, the WWE, JR, Pat Patterson, Edge and Christian. He really talked about Heath Slater a lot, so because that's when he kind of got emotional out there. I think they were talking about his brother, if I'm not mistaken, and I think he had cancer. It was some years ago, but he said Heath Slater helped him a lot through it. But it was a really good speech, though. So yeah, they did have the TNA Hall of Fame ceremony, so well deserved, especially for Rhino being in TNA. He'd been in TNA since what, 2005? And I know he kind of came in and
That
out of
sounds about
company.
right.
Yeah, because he has come in and out of the company for TNA, but yeah, he had been there since '05 and became NWA TNA World Champion. I know he's been Tag Team Champion, Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner. So yeah, he's had some accolades in TNA, so well deserved. Also, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match happened. I'm just gonna run through most of these because it was really predictable who was gonna win, anyways. Because one was Kazarian, two was Zachary Wentz, three Jake something. One thing I will say about this whole Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royale, they kept missing a lot of eliminations when people were getting eliminated. It's like 1 minute you see them, and then the camera was too late to see who they even got eliminated by. So I saw that several times. But we had like Trey Miguel, Alex Hammerstone, Rohit Raju. Haven't seen him in a while. He was number 6. Laredo Kid, Sammy Callahan, John Skyler, Bhupinder Guhar, Trent Seven, Casey Navarro, Rhino, Tasha Steeles, Lee Yang, formerly known as Zia Lee, Jason Hotch, Johnny Curtis, Jonathan Gresham, and AJ Francis was the last one. Basically, when it kind of came to the final 4, I know Rhino ended up in a gore on Kazarian, and then he threw out Casey Navarro, and then what was it? Rhino threw out AJ Francis then, and then it was between him and Kazarian just nut shotted Rhino and became the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner. So it was very predictable. You know who was going to win this. They've been building up with Cass for a while now that he was going to win this Call Your Shot Gauntlet Battle Royale, but no really big surprises that came from this Battle Royale. And
That's
it was,
when I turned in the show was the final 5 of this, so I saw that in the ending of it.
yeah, because like the only people I say I probably hadn't seen in a while was Rohit Raju and Bhupinder Guhar, but yeah, everybody else like we already see on the roster, Leon Slater and others, so not much of a surprise here. But now we actually get into the main show of Bound for Glory, and we start off with the X Division title on the line: Speedball Mike Bailey versus El Hijo del Vikingo. One word I have for this match is insanity spot fest. That I'm not even gonna try to name every move out of here because it was literally insane and really had the crowd going to start off the show. So insanity. It's like a pinball out there. You never know where it's gonna go. But Speedball did get the win on Vikingo. He hit the meteor, and basically it was like a meteor suplex off the top rope for the win. So yeah, Speedball end up retaining. But this match, like I said, was literally all over the place. And I guess commentary kind of protected Vikingo by saying, like, he came off a leg injury not that long ago. So I guess they kind of played into that.
That's the make of a good commentator too, because when they said that, they did this one bit where like Vikingo countered out of something Mike Bailey was doing, and that's when he started selling his leg. And then Tom was like, "That's the exact same move that injured his leg in the first place." And it's like, "Oh, see, that's what good commentary should do." So now that little move, that little spot, where it could have just been just another thing that happened, now it means a little bit more. And this is for real. I mean, because I'm kind of 50-50 on Vikingo matches when I see him, because sometimes, I mean, you're always going to get the spectacle, but sometimes he tries too much and ends up screwing it up. And it's, but other times you get something like this where he still does his crazy stuff, but there's a little more to the match when they started selling a leg and everything. And he was doing, I mean, both of them were doing some stuff I ain't never even seen before. When he stood on uh, the turnbuckle post and did a destroyer on the apron, I was like, what? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, this match was real cool, man. This was the peak of the show for a long time on this show. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. I had wrote down. I had wrote down like I thought they started out very fast, but I have to disagree with you though, Bryce. It wasn't a spot fest. To me, it wasn't a spot fest. It had spots, but it wasn't just bing, 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 bing. They slowed down, came back, rolled it back up again, slowed down again, and rolled it back up again. That's what I like about those. They just didn't just do spots after spot after spot after spot after spot. They slowed it down with some suspension. They, had to sell the leg. I felt like this match was a great match to start off the night to keep everybody hyped because the next match wasn't. They did it. They did. The next match didn't. Um, carry on that hype. But I think this match really carried the hype until another good match was presented to them. I felt like what I don't like about Mike is he takes too long to set up the shooting star press. I really don't like that. If you gotta have to take that long to set up a move, I think you need to find another move because how can I still me being knocked out for so long, waiting for you to hit this move? And even like the first shooting star press, when he went for the first one, he missed. So you telling me that I waited, I laid out this long, knowing that I'm going to move anyway. I laid out this long just to bait you into trying to do a shooting star press. I ain't like that. That's one thing I did like. I did that. I ain't really had no too many gripes. My favorite move of the night was that move you were just talking about, Steve. That Canadian destroyer off the post of the ring. I mean, off the post of the top rope. Man, that was crazy. That was very nice. I also liked it. Did y'all see the spot where he went for with Mike Bailey? I think Mike Bailey went for a baseball slide. He missed, and then Vikingo hit a corkscrew moonsault off the rope.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
insane.
that was very good too. That was very good. I really like this match though. It was a good match to start off the night, keep everybody hyped, get everybody in the mood for wrestling.
No, it just definitely started off the night hot. Definitely got the crowd invested. So, like I said, this was a insane, crazy match out here. Like I said, no surprise on Speedball still retaining the X Division title, but definitely a hot way to kick off the show. Cause kind of right after that, this is where the cool down now begins. The TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Spitfire versus Wendy Choo and Rosemary, which I felt the crowd was very quiet for this, and they gave this match some time. But at the
Too
same
much
time,
time.
a lot of time. But I can't say I really care a lot about this. Even at one point, what was it? Rosemary had hit a spear, and they looked like she could have got the win, but then she just kind of broke the fall. Like, oh no, I'm not done yet, and let's keep the match going.
Yeah, that
And
was dumb.
yeah,
That
I
was
didn't know
dope.
that was dumb. Like you kind of had it won, and then she's like, oh no, I'm still want to keep going, and then it just backfired, and Spitfire just kept coming back with like their double team finisher and won the match. And then right after, Wendy Choo and Rosemary still in the ring, and Rosemary ended up taking out Wendy Choo and just kind of, just stood over her then. Honestly, I think was this like a last minute match they even made for this show? I believe because like how long had they been really going after the Knockouts tag team titles? And the crazy thing about all this, one, it's not like they really lined up anybody for Spitfire to face for the titles. Rosemary, who did kind of have a push going on at one point, because like then she had like a blade and everything before they just kind of threw her along with Wendy Choo, and then she just started popping up on NXT, losing left and right. And I'm not even really surprised that they lost here either, because I don't think the crowd really cared. I don't think people really cared about Wendy Choo's dark gimmick, even in NXT, since like I can go back to that match with No Mercy with Kalani Jordan, how quiet the crowd was throughout that whole match. And this kind of felt like another reason. And I guess the tag team is dead now between Rosemary and Choo since Rosemary took her out, but it's kind of like this team was just made just because. And all they've really done is kind of lose more than they win, because it's like every time I've ever seen Rosemary on NXT, she just loses all the time. So I guess they now want to go back to her having a singles push, because that's looked like it was going before they just threw her along with Wendy Choo to even be in a tag team. But I still think the whole spear and then like breaking the fall didn't make any sense. But honestly, this match was just kind of whatever, to be honest. Like I was like, all right, Rosemary turned on her. This team is over. Good, because I'm like, wasn't Wendy Choo just kidnapping people on Tuesday anyway? So yeah, let's just move on from that. This whole team.
Yeah, I feel like some kind of audible was called within the last couple of months or so. Because yeah, you're right. They definitely were pushing Rosemary, and she was chasing down Ash Battle against his concierge, and it seemed like they were building towards a triple threat match between those three, uh, Ash, Rosemary, and Jordan for the title. In which I thought that's how they were finally going to give Ash the title by having her pin Rosemary, but then they just went away from that. Like the next week after, because it was Rosemary and Jordan in a match, title match that Ash interrupted. And then the next week, Rosemary was nowhere near it. And instead, they just blew off the one-on-one with Ash and Jordan again on TV. And then Rosemary just went to NXT and started dicking around with Wendy Choo, doing all that. And I'm like, okay, something changed here, because obviously y'all were setting up something. Because otherwise, why would Rosemary not want to get revenge when she got screwed out of the titles? Like, obviously, we had something in mind, and we just decided not to do that, and so we're doing this instead. And I don't think anybody came out of that Wendy Choo Rosemary situation looking any better. Maybe it was just because it was October and they said, yeah, let's do this because, spooky season, whatever. But I mean, nothing really. I mean, they, like you said, they started building this within the last couple of weeks with Spitfire. And I mean, Danny Luna wasn't even on the show this week. Like all of this is, I don't know. They did this a complete disservice, and then the match was just so whatever. And I mean, you mentioned that bit with Rosemary where she had the pin and chose not to do it. It's just like, what are we? That was so stupid. It's the first match in a row where somebody did something incredibly stupid, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I just sat there like, man, this match is so whatever, because Spitfire is like the only tag team in the division, and we had to call Wendy over so we can do this thing with her and Rosemary, but it never really got off the ground. They always lost every time we saw them together. So why would I be invested in this? Yeah, this wasn't it.
Yeah, yeah, there was the slow down match right here. This match right here, I gave it a chance at first because I like how they started back and forth at the beginning, but then it just went into. I just think tag team matches nowadays across all companies It's like it just seems to me it breaks down into a tornado tag after a while. Like you forget who the legal man after a while. You forget that all people cannot be in the ring at that time. But it just seems to me that all tag team matches seem to break down into a tornado tag after a while. And it's just like, do everybody got this whole? I mean, do everybody got the same playbook? Like, can we change the page off a playbook? Like, can we not do this? But that's just a little great off of a boring match. The spot that we was all talking about. Why would you pick her head up? You had the match, and then if you needed a spot for them to retain the titles without people looking stupid, because that looked dumb. You could have came up with another spot, a song, man. Wendy Choo could have hit Rosemary by accident. Rosemary about to turn on her anyway. You might as well use that spot and be like, that's the
Exactly.
reason why I wanted. That's the reason why I wanted to turn on you because you cost us the tag team titles. I mean, come on, man. It writes itself, but you have to use that dumb spot. I ain't really understanding. Nobody understood it. I guess that's going to be really the talking point for this match right here. And nobody gonna be talking about this match other than that spot right there.
No, you just brought up an excellent point because if Rosemary was going to turn on her anyway, that would have been the perfect reason to do it because Rosemary's the one that turned anyway.
Hmm.
So why not? If they're not going to do what you just said, then if they're going to do the little break the pin spot, then shouldn't have Wendy have done it? Because then Rosemary would be like, "Yo, we had the match. Why did you do that?" And then turn on her. Like, no, everything that came into this match did nobody any favors, man.
Yeah, no, none at
Definitely
all.
backwards. No, definitely backwards stuff right here. Cause yeah, she stopped the pinfall, but still ended up turning at the end. So nah, they did not really look good coming out of this match. So it's like okay, this team is over now. But it's like what Shaggy said, man. It's not like there's really any other tag teams around, anyways, on TNA when it comes to the knockouts division right now. Because I'm like, what other teams are there? Like literally, what other teams are there? Or they have a makeshift tag team? Like that's one thing between WWE and TNA. Like when it comes to like women's tag teams, it's like you just gotta start scooping up people together just to get them somewhat on the card in a way. Or it's like, okay, we're gonna
Yeah,
put you with you.
that's what I mean, and that's a good way to put people if they not doing nothing singles. That's a good way to get them on TV. You know what I'm saying? You need to fill out a division where some of these women that are not really doing anything or that not, don't have barely any TV time. Convince them into try to team up together, see if they got some chemistry or something, and see if you could go get a hot tag team that could be going for the tag team championship. You never know. You just got to go out there and just see what you get. What you got.
Facts.
Yeah, that's true. Cause like when I look at the TNA Knockouts division, it's like, well, who else is really on the roster that they could make a team? Cause it's like I don't know. It's like who else they got? Cause I'm just
Kind
kind
of
of
hard to
thinking.
tell with TNA anyway who's on the roster because people just kind of come and go. Like I could count how many times Giselle Shaw or Tasha Steeles was like featured on TV, and then we just never saw them for months. So it's
They
like,
they they
who
disappear,
y'all got? I don't even know who y'all got.
and they
Maybe they're
just
better off using this NXT crossover to send some women's tag teams over there. Like maybe send JC Jane and Fallon Henley to feud with them or something. I mean, all they do is lose over there, so
Anyway,
maybe do
right?
that. I don't know, but something, bro. Like, cause y'all ain't got nobody. Who's next? There is nobody.
yeah, cause yeah, you talk about Tasha Steeles, yeah, they just threw her in that call your shot gauntlet battle royale early in the show, and I think she was only in there for like 3 minutes, I think, cause I only like the only thing I remember her doing was like a cutter on somebody, and then she tried to fight Rhino or something, but I think he threw her out. Somebody threw her out because she did something. Then she tried to twerk in the ring, and it doesn't even move. By the way, I've seen that live, but yeah, that's all they really had to do.
Who you talking about? Who tried to twerk in the ring?
Oh, Tasha
Tasha
Steele.
Steele. Well, she ain't
Does
got
it?
no
Oh,
booty, bro.
Yeah,
you
she
right.
ain't got
She ain't
none.
got
I've
no
seen it
booty,
live.
right?
I've seen it
Right, I'm
live.
about to
Trust me.
say, of course it did move. What going to move? Her back? It's like,
Oh, I've seen it live in person. Trust me. Oh,
You don't even
yeah.
gotta see it live. You
Yeah, you don't.
just
TV,
see.
same thing. Same thing. But nah, it's like, yeah, what do they really have her doing right now? And Xia Li just got there too, so she's new in the company, so I don't know what they about to build her up to. But yeah, it's like, yeah, they don't have any team, so it's kind of just best to just throw random NXT people, just to throw somebody out there. And like I said, this was just kind of thrown together. So this tag team match was literally whatever. But moving on. Next, we got Josh Alexander versus Steve Maclin, who had new music, by the way. Um, I know the Northern Armory weren't there, I guess, due to travel issues. And I guess Eric Young said early in the night he would have Macklin's back if it needed. Both of these guys started brawling with each other before the bell even rang during the entranceway. And like I said, they're both brawling with each other until they finally got in the ring. Fans started to chant "Walking Wienered in," since they really are making that a thing now. Maclin, who hit Alexander with like what 10 German suplexes, if I'm not mistaken. 10. And it's like 10 suplexes. I'm like, wow. I was like, how many can he keep going? And, as this match is still going on, fans still chanting "Walking Wiener." I think because they end up knocking down the referee then. Because Macklin's leg got caught. They knocked him to the referee. And then Josh ended up kicking Maclin in the nuts. Fans started to chant "Wiener" again. And then he brought out some zip ties. And then the fans started to chant "This is kinky." I'm like, okay. So they got him in
The
the zip
crowd was
tie.
on one, man.
Yeah, the chants throughout this whole show are insane. Damn, yeah. Like they be making up anything, but like some of these chants, I'm like, this is kinky. I'm like, okay now. But basically, Maclin is tied up and he's got zip ties on, and Josh is just doing what he can to take him out. Maclin still kept fighting back. He even hit a pretty good suicide dive on the outside. Like, for a guy that's just moving around in zip ties with his hands tied behind his back, they actually made this work. So it actually kind of got real interesting right here. But Josh just kept attacking him, so he couldn't get free, and even hit like a tombstone pile drive out there too, which still Maclin kicked out at 2. Maclin was able to get out of the C4 then, still headbutted him, but Josh ended up putting him in an ankle lock in and just grapevine it where Maclin couldn't tap out, so there was no way he could tap out. So he ended up just passing out then, and Josh Alexander won the match from there. So I gotta say it was a pretty good brawl. Like the match didn't really get interesting until like the whole zip ties thing came in. Because once again, it was like the crowd was kind of into it. Like they fell off, but they kind of got back into the match later on. But in a way, the crowd does seem to amuse themselves when they kept chanting "Walking Wiener" throughout most of the match. But they really are trying to get Josh's new heel persona more over. I know they get, like I say, he's got a group now, even though they weren't really involved in here. But Josh just basically beat the hell out of Maclin once the zip ties came in this match. But I thought it was good though.
Yeah, you said a few things that are definitely my thought process. I mean, one that the crowd didn't really seem into the match itself and just were just doing whatever, saying whatever. I guess they were bored by, I don't know, maybe the last match took them out of it, but or maybe they're just not really into the idea of Steve Maclin as his big baby face. Because I mean, if that's a thing, I kind of get that because his whole vibe isn't baby face at all.
I thought the same
But
thing, Steve.
because I mean, it just is what it is. Some people are just better off being heelish, and I don't know. I don't even know if they really did much to make him face in the first place. Assuming these people are watching this show every week, I don't think they even did, because this all came from him with that feud with Eric Young, where he just decided, you know what, I'm going to be babyface now. Like nothing really. I don't know, for so long of him being a heel and just one day on a whim is like, yeah, I'll be a babyface just because I'll have Eric Young's back. It's like, that's not really enough on the bone to make me say, all right, this guy, I'm gonna get behind this guy. And I guess they were relying more on Josh being so heelish that that's how you counteract that. but instead the crowd just kind of went into business for themselves. Like, I don't know, but you said one thing, Bryce. You said the reason Maclin was in the zip ties was because Josh kept attacking him, not giving him a chance to get out of them. But that happened later on. When I said in the last match, that was the first match where somebody did something stupid. This match is the next match where that happened, where there was plenty of times where the ref was trying to get Maclin out the zip ties, and Maclin was like, he was just like, no, I want to stay in the zip ties for whatever reason, bro. And he willingly let himself be handicapped in this match for so long. And I'm like,
Sound like some
why,
military
bro?
shit.
They're like, you dumbass. You know you can't fight
The
with no
ref is
hands,
right
right?
here with
Yeah,
the
I can just
with the pliers, bro. He's willing to get you out of these, and you're like, no, for what, bro? I was like, you've got to be kidding me with this. And the spots were cool, the tombstone and the suicide dive, all that was cool, but I was just sitting there like, why would he just willingly handicap himself? Like, what are we doing here with this?
to look tough.
And I mean, I guess I have no idea, bro. And it's
It's a
so
thin
easy
line.
to just tell this same exact story with what you said, Bryce. Just have Josh every time the ref looks like he's trying to do it. Just have Josh get up and attack him and not give him the chance. Like it's so easy. Just do that instead. But instead, Maclin looks like an idiot for willingly letting himself be crippled in this match. And it's like, how am I supposed to feel for you when you put yourself in this position, bro? Like, you had the chance, multiple chances, and you just opted to leave yourself in this position. But yeah, this was after that Mike Bailey and Vikingo match. This was like a long little stretch of the show where I was just kind of like, this is all right, but we kind of peaked early. So that last match and then this match, I was just like, whatever, man. It's here, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it technically, but I'm just not really into it. And then the zip tie thing happened and kind of woke everybody up. But then it was dumb how they did it, and then the match just ended. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's it.
And like how I felt about the match, like the beginning of the match, it started off strong. They had Maclin, attack Josh right away. Make to get everybody to understand how significant the feud supposed to be. Key word supposed. Um, because here's the thing, I I I was out of the loop or how Macklin became face. I was kind of out of the loop. You know what I'm saying? So when I watching the match, I kind of watching it knowing that Josh is a heel. I know that, but I so Macklin is the face or heel. That's what I was thinking in the beginning because I was like, man, hold on, time out. Last time I saw this nigga wasn't no face. Hold on, how they change your face? And so I'm listening to y'all, and before I make my comment. So as I'm listening to y'all, especially you, see, when you were just saying how they didn't do enough to even make him a face, it kind of remind me of, if y'all remember back in 2004 when they were trying to make Randy Orton face, and they didn't do much to make him face. All they did was he didn't like Triple H. Well, we don't like him either, so join the club. What's that supposed to do? You know, I never understood that, So this kind of remind me of that. Like he didn't do much. All he said was, "Oh, I'm gonna help you out, Aaron Young," instead of beating you up. And Aaron Young accepted it, I guess. So I'm like, that's not much, Yeah, but I guess we're gonna try to see how this rides out. I like Macklin, I like him as a wrestler, so I try to give it a chance right now, and see if it can be a face. But he don't look like a face to me, His aura don't even scream face. He really looked like a heel, and I really think they need to lean more towards him looking like a heel. He looked like a dude just up to no good, I'm sorry to look at a person and say you look like a person that up to no good, but that's how he looked, you know. And I really think they should lean towards that. But the match was good until the zip tie part. Like I didn't understand why he didn't want to be, hand covered. I just like what this supposed to do? Because he looked dumb, and it ain't like he don't look tough to me. He looked dumb, you know. And you could fight back with your hands. I guess you wanted to do the little cool spots with the zip ties. I guess you could have did that in the beginning when he first got zip tied. Then he could get the referee can help him out, and then bam, just back to a regular match again. But tonight they really missed all they finishes. They really did. Like the two out of three so far, they misses all they finishes. Yeah. But the night continued though.
Yeah, because I don't know. Yeah, I didn't understand. Like, it's like you had ample amount of time to get out of the zip ties, but he just wanted to stay in. Like, I don't know if it was like some type of military thing or something. And it's like, I got to prove how tough I am. I'm going to still stay in the zip ties and fight. So you just going to kick your way out of this then, huh? So, like, is that where we're going? But yeah, him being a face right now just does feel kind of random. I think he just works better as a heel, especially just doing the whole military thing, adding on to that helped a lot too. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of random. It's like, okay, he's a face now. And, they're trying to get Josh's, new heel persona over. Like I said, they've given him a group now. So I guess beating up Eric Young and Maclin is the thing. I'm almost surprised this wasn't even a tag match. Like, but given I guess the Northern Armory couldn't make, I thought it would have been them versus Maclin and EY on this show. I kind of thought that was gonna happen, but it just ended up being Maclin and Josh. So Josh winning, it makes sense. It gets him more over as a heel. So that's one thing. But I guess them trying to make Maclin a face is almost like, well, he never gave up. He didn't tap out. He passed out. Well, he had nothing to tap out with. But I guess this proves how tough he is. So he didn't like just give up just like that just because he just passed out. But yeah, a lot of it still didn't make sense though. But moving on from this match, Monsters Ball, PCO versus Matt Cardona for the TNA Digital Media Championship and the International Wrestling Championship. Matt Cardona, who is dressed like somebody from the Ghostbusters, even like having the whole jumpsuit and even having deathmatch busters on the back of his jumpsuit. What can I say about this match? Because this feud's been going on for a minute. I know Steph Delander is out of action due to neck surgery. And Matt Cardona, ever since he's been back, he's been pissed that Cardona is aligned. Cardona's pissed that since Delander's been aligned with PCO and has been trying to get him for almost a few months now. What can I really say about this match? It's a Monsters Ball match, so I expect a lot of, weapons and, garbage spots to be involved. A lot of doors. One thing I can say about this match, it was a lot of doors. Lots and lots of doors. And, they kept bringing doors in the ring and going through them. Honestly, I thought at one point it was just PCO just taking scary bumps throughout this match, especially the one with the steel steps where he got suplexed onto the edge of it. That looked pretty brutal. Okay, that was really brutal to see. But they're still going through doors. Then they end up bringing out the thumbtacks, which I just get tired of seeing the thumbtacks nowadays. And that goes with any type of hardcore match because I've seen it so many times that it's just kind of whatever to me at this point. And Cardona took the thumbtacks, he put in PCO's mouth and did the whole broski boot thing. And I guess PCO no sold it that he had to DDT him onto the thumbtacks, which he had the thumbtacks in his head, and he started finally bleeding because nobody didn't really bleed into this match till later on. Because when it comes to Monsters Ball matches, you expect anybody to really just bleed heavily throughout the entire match, but it really wasn't like that here. And PCO still no selling, getting up, Ryder's hitting the Rough Rider on him, and still false finishes and whatnot. And we're pulling out more doors from under the ring then, which I think he ended up putting PCO through another door, but it still didn't work. And then there were more thumbtacks then. And Matt Cardona ended up hitting him with a low blow then. And then took out like a slime-like barbed wire baseball bat because, Ghostbusters reference, ectoplasm and all that. And Cardona kept hitting PCO in the head with it several times. But PCO ended up just kind of recovering then, and then he choke slammed Cardona onto the thumbtacks, and then he hit the PCO salt for the win. So PCO still retains the Digital Media International Wrestling Championship.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, the worst thing you can do when I'm already kind of falling out of love with the show is bring out Matt Cardona, bro.
It's Matt Cardona.
Like, no disrespect to him, man, but I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been excited to see him. Like, he's not on my list or nothing. He's not with the Lexus Kings and QT Marshalls, but I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm like, oh, it's Matt Cardona, bro. Like, never, bro. Not one time. So when I came in this match kind of like, after those last two matches, and then we got this match, and I was like, but I mean, you mentioned the blood thing, because that's what I said to you yesterday. I was like, this has got to be the most tame Monsters Ball match I've ever seen, man. Until Matt Cardona started jabbing the thumbtacks into his face and all that. I was like, all right, now we're getting to some crazier, because there's an expectation set by the stuff you've seen in the past. And I was just sitting there like, all right, this is it's just the PCO takes crazy bump show, which we see every PCO match, but it's nothing really more than that until they started getting a little more vicious with what they were doing to each other. And I guess they were using the doors because the main event was going to have all the table spots, so you didn't want to do all that, and blow your load that early into the show. But I mean, that's kind of whatever. Same effects, doors, tables, it was all wood or whatever. But yeah, the match was fine. Yeah, trash cans, stuff that breaks when you slam somebody on it. It was fine. Once we got to the end of this match, I started kind of going up because it ended kind of cool. But largely, I was just like, yeah, whatever, man. Matt Cardona, PCO, like this has been. You're not kidding when you said this has been building for a long time, and this is the first time we've actually gotten them in a match together. And I don't really know what took so long to get here, because I mean, when Steph was healthy, they could have just done it, and then they didn't. And now we're finally here when she's not even involved. And I don't know, but it was all right.
Yeah, I like first thing I wrote down was, man, TNA got a prettier version of referee Aubrey Edward out there. Old girl, the
All right.
referee. I'm like, she a prettier version of referee Aubrey Edwards.
That's her little sister.
Bitty version. What you say?
That's her little sister.
That's her little sister.
No, not for real. I don't know.
Oh no, you just playing. Oh, okay.
Hey, at least she's not hogging. She's not hogging the spotlight like old Ed there on AEW. Don Stevens.
You and your beef for Aubrey Edwards, man.
Well deserved.
Carl wasn't even saying all that, bro.
Crazy part.
I know. I'm just making a joke.
People that got a beef with her. I don't know why though. But I'm like, it's a monster ball match. I expected a lot of crazy, painful spots, especially that spot where he backdrop PCO on the self. That looked brutal. I like Matt Cardona pulled out a door and got a door chant, and I was like, whatever. This show must have been that boring to them. They just chanted stuff. Door.
That's what I'm saying, bro. The crowd.
Door.
Right. So I like PCO dropped him through the door. Then he went for a down. Did y'all see that down that PCO did and he landed weird on his shoulder? Man,
I thought he landed on his head.
Woo! That looked brutal, did it?
I thought he landed on his head.
Oh, I was like, I'm glad he got up though. And before Steven mentioned that they were going to have a lot of table spots in the main event, I had wrote down like they got a door, but they used it as a table. Why they just go ahead and bring out the table? So it makes sense now, Steven. So you kind of brought some sense into that. I ain't understand why they would use the door as a table. And, that just didn't make no sense if you just go ahead and just get the damn table. But now it makes sense. Once I saw the dumb text, I wrote dumb text. Oh, I felt the same way, Bryce. You just don't know. You just don't know. I am tired of dumb tech. Seriously tired of that spot. Please just kill the spot or put it on ice for a very, very long time. Somebody needs to send out a memo to everybody like, hey, we need to kill the dub tech spot for a minute. And nobody does it for at least a year. Um, but uh, the match, like you said, Steve, it ain't never a match I ever saw, and I said, man, can't wait for that damn Matt Cardona match. That's gonna be a banger. No, I never said that about life, but I don't think I will. Man,
No.
that's just the gist of it. I'm sorry. It's like by the time they brought out the third door, I'm like, man, I guess his favorite bed is the three doors down. Cause what the hell
Bro,
you
I said
bring?
that to Price yesterday.
He did. He said that. He did say that.
He said that's 3 doors down, bro.
3 doors down.
So we all in the same wave with that.
Doors. 3 doors down.
I didn't like the spot where he was shaking the dumb tax and PTO face. I was like, what is this? Please stop doing this. Somebody please stop doing stupid stuff, man. Yeah, I'm glad they just went home quickly after that, though. Like, man, PCO hit the moonsault, brought it on home. I was like, oh, please, thank God. Thank God. I was just tired of it after a while. I was like, I could have fast forwarded. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt like since I was doing a review, I didn't want to miss a lot of things. You get what I'm saying? So I just felt like I kind of, put myself through a torture here to watch this match because this could have been a fast forward match for real. I like PCO. Don't get me wrong. I respect PCO. I respect his, his long lineage that he, built for himself from the '90s to now. You know what I'm saying? I think from the '80s actually, but he been out here for a long time. He's still doing it, and so I respect that. But respect only goes so far. And I can't watch another match with Matt Cardona again. Please don't do this to me again, bro.
Yeah, I told bro straight up after the last match that I had to leave for a second, and when I came back, this match was on, and I was like, yeah, this is the perfect match for me to have missed some of it. If I was gonna miss a bit of any match, this was the one, bro.
Yeah, man. I didn't like this one.
I'm
It
be hon-
wasn't that I didn't like it. It's just that I didn't particularly care for the person that was in it.
Yeah, I'm be honest. I think PCO versus Top Dollar Slammiversary was a better Monsters Ball match than what I saw right here.
And
And I
that was
know
because that nigga Top Dollar can't do anything either.
because
That
even I
nigga
thought the one at Slammiversary was a little bit more exciting. Because and the whole story with this, and it doesn't really help that Steph DeLander is not there due to injury, but they've been building this for a pretty good while now, and it's finally happened. I'm gonna assume this feud is over, but one thing that I remember Shaggy saying this the other day to me. What was it? Oh, we're gonna watch Nick Nemeth and Matt Cardona. It's Dolph Ziggler versus Zack Ryder from 2010 on SmackDown or something.
Yeah, they were main event in the show. That was crazy.
They did that match for real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 weeks ago, main
Oh,
event.
no, they did not. Like we wanted to get black, like we wanted to go to the past or something. 2011. Nobody wanted to go back there. We good. That 2011 happened in 2011. Let it happen. I don't want to see it again.
and I try to give Matt Cardona credit for reinventing himself ever since he left WWE and has just traveled from multiple promotions doing this Deathmatch King stuff. Even when Chelsea Green was with him before she ended up going back to WWE and they put Steph DeLander with him. Like I give him credit for like kind of reinventing himself, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to see a Zack Ryder match like that? Even in this company which this feud is, even though it's a Monsters Ball, it's like, am I really clamoring to go see? It's Matt Cardona. I still remember that time when he debuted in AEW and he was only there for like once or twice. But I just remember how they were playing him up like he was like this big deal, and he really wasn't at the time. Okay, so I just kind of wanted. It's like this match happened and it was over. It's like it happened, it went through, and that was it. But even I have to say, I think I enjoyed the Monsters Ball matches at the Slammiversary with PCO and Top Dollar more than I, like this one here. It's like it happened, it's over, so I'm just gonna assume we move on to something else.
Right.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
yeah, hopefully they want to keep continuing this thing. it's Matt Cardona. Or maybe they can give PCO something of a different storyline and just, well, he's a Frankenstein, so they got to do with the Frankenstein stuff. Next, now this is where I feel like the crowd kind of came back to life a little bit more. Mike
Me too.
Santana versus Moose.
Yeah, I can't. I woke up. I woke back up after this when this match started.
This is where I feel
Energy
like
was different, man.
everybody kind of woke up then when this match happened. I definitely enjoyed this. Once again, the crowd, man, just fuck the system chants. Like, it was one point in the match. I know they had Johnny Curtis out there with him, and he kept distracting the ref. But I remember one point, I thought it was funny throughout the match. Some fan, I guess, was trying to say something to Santana. Didn't Santana say like, "I ain't no fucking dog" or something like that? I remember
I didn't
seeing
even
that.
catch that.
Yeah, you got to go back and look. It was hilarious. But I did enjoy this match. I thought it was really good. I will say they've been pushing Santana pretty good. You don't want to put him immediately for the world title since coming back to this company, but they've been trying to build him into something. Not saying he's going to go for the world title next after this, but they are keeping him in feuds because this whole feud about him fighting the system. He's basically gone through all the system members one by one just to finally get his hands on Moose. And like I said, they built this up really good, so I liked it. Like I said, I know JDC kept getting involved throughout the match, even trying to use a chain and whatnot. And Santana was just able to basically fight both him and Moose off. Because JDC tried him with the chain, and then Santana hit the spin the block on him. Moose came back with a spear, for a false finish. Moose tried to go back for another spear again, but Santana ended up hitting the spin the block for the win. So I enjoyed this match. It woke the crowd up. They were really into it. Santana finally getting, payback on Moose and just going through all the system members. I thought it was really good. I don't know if this feud is going to continue. Like, I would think the feud is kind of over after this, unless they want to go even crazier and make it some. I'm not saying it's going to be like a hardcore match, but if they want to end it off in a dramatic fashion. But Santana getting the win here was it was good. I definitely enjoyed this.
It's actually my only complaint in the match because, I mean, it's not even really a complaint, but it's just an observation. Because a few weeks ago, they had Santana and Dango have this bloody, vicious street fight. And I'm like, why are we blowing this kind of violence on Dango when the real issue is with Moose? So whenever we get the Moose match, I'm expecting even more of that. But then we got to the Moose match and it was a regular match. Like, wait, what? Why
Maybe
did
it's a
we do
cage
that with
match.
Dango? Yeah, like I don't understand that. I still don't understand it after following this match. But yeah, man, I really like this match, and I'm rooting for Santana more than most people because yeah, we saw him in Proud and Powerful and LAX and all that, and it was cool to see him do that. And then when the reports started coming out that he wanted to break away because he wanted to do his own thing, and everybody was talking like, oh, well, his career's over then. Nobody's going to because it's Proud and Powerful. Who's going to care about? And I'm like, give him a chance, bro. My man bulked up. He found a look that works for him. He's always been good on the mic. He's got the look. Like, we give the dude a chance, And now since he's been back in TNA, I mean, I know he's House of Glory champion and all that, like, but now that he's been back on TNA and on TV in these positions, he's showing that he could be a top guy. Like you said, I don't know if they're going to push him towards the world title just yet, but they made it feel like he can be at that level. and it wouldn't feel weird at all if he was just on that level next week. Like now that, I mean, Joe Hendry didn't win the title or whatever. If Santana came out to, you know, go against Nick Nemeth, it wouldn't feel weird. It's like, yeah, he feels like a top contender in this company, and I give TNA creative all the credit in the world for that, because they really built this dude to feel like a big deal. So when this match started, the whole energy in the building changed from the last match. It felt like, oh, now we're getting to the big matches of this show. Now we're getting to the stars of this company that people are paying to see. And I'll give Moose a lot of credit too, because I mean, Moose came out looking like $1,000,000. He had the pay-per-view blue on and all that. I'm like, yeah, this whole aura of this match just felt different than everything we've seen since the X Division title match. So I really loved it. I still don't understand why we got the blood and guts with Dango and not Moose. I still don't understand that. But other than that, man, I was all in, and it was this started the streak of some bangers, at least 2 in a row. So yeah, I was here for this.
Use.
Yeah. Um, how I felt about the match was, man, it woke me up instantly. I wrote down like, man, I always would love Moose theme song. I don't know why. It's just like I like that theme song. It's one of my favorite TNAs right now. I like. They had to show West Side Gun at the thing. I'm like, man, that nigga come to everything, man. Shit, it ain't even a surprise. It ain't even. He there every day. It seemed like it, but I'm like, I really like this match. Oh, my goodness, the sky high off the. I guess that was a sky high. He was trying to go the hill off the top rope, but they would look devastated. The man, it got the point across. I, with this match, I just feel like Steven just said. All right, after this, what you do with Mike? You know, do you go ahead and let him go for the title, or? But I don't know right now. But I don't know if he should go for it right now, because how the TNA World Title match ended. I don't think him going into the title match. I mean, title picture right now would be a good thing, and everybody wants Joe right now. So if you put him there, you gonna have to you gonna probably have to step on some couple of fans' toes to get past Joe. So I think he should wait for a little while. He should just go against um top stars all the way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of top stars, whatever your top stars is over there, throw him at Mike, and he needs wins over them. So by the time we do put the title on him, we won't be stepping on the Joe Hendry fanatics out there that want him to be the world champion. But
Thanks.
That's true.
and so I really like how this match ended. Like, this one of the endings that made sense. You know what I'm saying? Even though I just felt like the person who comes to the ring should automatically get ejected, but that's just a nitpick. They do get ejected. That's how it has to be a part of the story. But I just feel like sometimes you just can't enter the ring, and like, nah, that automatic disqualification to me. But but I liked it. The end. He hit the spin the block on both of them, and then hit it again on Moose, and boom. And I just feel like after this, it should be done. Bryce. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think they should do a super match between him and Moose. Like, nah, he ran through your group. It's done.
Yeah, they should have did it on
And
this
that's the
show.
whole group. What you say?
So if they were going to do that, they should have done it on this show.
Yeah, I would think
See?
it could have been, like I said, the hardcore match or even a cage match if they wanted to end this feud in like a big fashion, especially on your biggest show of the year for TNA. Like, you want to end it off pretty big. That's what I would have thought would have happened. But I'm gonna assume it's over after this, and they move Santana and Moose on to something else. Like you said, Kyle, like you don't want to just put Santana in the world title picture already, but it's like you want to at least put him through some names so he can feel like a bigger deal that you can believe he's a main event guy in, and then go for the world championship. Because like what Shaggy said, also they've done a good job of you know, building Santana up to be a singles name ever since he came back to TNA, especially when he was just a tag team guy before, LAX and all that. And, then the stuff in AEW didn't go as all out like I'm sure it was supposed to. And then he became his own man. And he just, like I said, he got up out from over there and, he went to find his own way. So they are making him a big player, building him up to be a big player in TNA right now. But yeah, I think they're just gonna move on to unless they move on to something else with both of these guys now. But like I said, I enjoyed the match overall. It was really good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Definitely agree.
definitely good stuff from here. Next, the TNA Knockouts Championship. Jordynee Grace versus Masha Slamovich. She had new music, by the way. So a lot of people say it sounded like electronic dance music.
It's a third theme over here, man.
Yeah, these theme songs, man, they be changing. Yeah, they've been really changing these theme songs. Both of these two faced off against each other 2 years ago at Bound for Glory. And going into this match, the one thing on my mind looking at this was, is Masha actually going to win this time? Because, a couple years ago, they made Masha an unstoppable force, just running through everybody in the knockouts division until she ran to Jordynee Grace and then lost to her about 2 times. And it didn't really kind of come back up after that. And it just, Masha kind of got pushed to the wayside, low key. But now they have got her back in the main title picture. I know some are going to say the feud doesn't make sense all the way all of a sudden, especially in the past few weeks about Masha now saying like, well, while you were doing this in WWE and everything, I was out here, making a name for myself. Like, I thought we were friends or something like that. And then, all of a sudden now Masha can speak English too. So that's what they've been really kind of. I didn't know she could speak English.
I thought so too, Bray. No, I'm laughing because I thought so too. No, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've been out of the loop. So by the time I looking at the video package, right? Yeah, she started speaking perfect English. I'm like, hold on, wait a second, time out. I thought she I thought she was out here speaking, Russian out here, yeah, I thought that's what I thought. I'm like, man, I didn't know she could. Good thing she could. I ain't trying to take that from me, but it just kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah, because now, like I said, she could speak perfect English now, and like I said, the whole feud has just been kind of going off on, like I just explained, with Jordynee Grace just kind of popping back in between TNA and WWE right now. Masha, I've been holding down, the knockouts division over here. Now, it's my time again. Because, like I said, they faced each other 2 years ago, and now this is the big rematch. And this was great. This was a great match. Okay, like both women killed it there. The knockouts title is gonna be this match was gonna be great, especially given who was involved in this match. So I definitely enjoyed it. One move, what was it? The Kryptonite Crush. I know it's an air raid crash, but yeah, Masha hitting Jordynee Grace was like really good. So I thought that was a good move. And I'm not trying to call everything. One thing I did like, because what was it? Masha was going for like a kick, right? It was like a roundhouse, and then Jordynee Grace just caught her leg and then transitioned into it like a Grace driver. That was great. Like
That was
that
cool.
was a cool transition. I like that a lot. Cause then she like hit the stretch muffler then. I almost thought Masha was almost really gonna tap out then, because she just had that stretch muffler in. I thought she was gonna rip her leg off and stuff, but Masha was still able to get out of it. And then like she hit the snow plow and then hit a pile driver for the clean win. So Jordynee Grace, finally, like I said, like she lost the knockouts title here, clean by the way too. So Masha won the title. So it was a big deal. Definitely a big deal. Cause I was like, she gotta win this time. Cause like if she ain't beat it 2 years ago, she's gotta win it this time. And
Yeah,
then
this
like
is my match of the night.
yeah, they shook hands. Yeah. And they both shook hands after, and that was basically it. But No, this was one hell of a match here. This crowd was definitely into this match.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't know you weren't done, but
Oh, my bad.
yeah, this was easily my match of the night. And it's not even that other things weren't good. It's just like this was on a in terms of like pure wrestling, this match was specifically made for me, man. And I'll compare it a lot to Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, where it's like you're absolutely right criticizing the story going into this. The story didn't make any kind of sense. Like Masha talking about, well, while you're over there and I've been living in your shadow, and we've been friends for all these years, and none of this has been on TV until like 2 weeks ago. And she even said, you knew that I could speak English, but you kept it from everybody to because you didn't want me surpassing you. And I'm like, what? If that's what you're going, why didn't you just start speaking English? Like, what are you talking about?
Hey,
What? None of it made any sense. But when we got to the graps, when we got to the match, all that was out the window. And it was just let the two cook. And that's all you need, bro. Just like I said, I want to compare it to that Sasha Bianca match at WrestleMania. It's like we did everything wrong with the story leading up to this. But once we get to it, let them cook. And that's all you need. And this match was so fire, man. They were doing stuff I ain't never even seen from them before. Masha was out here doing topes and combo kicks and all that. I'm like, where has this Masha been for the last? I was seeing you taking pins to Danny Luna, tag teaming with Alicia Edwards like 3 weeks ago. Like, where has this Masha been for the last? You know, like this is what Masha always should have been, and I don't know why she hasn't been that. I mean, you can make the argument that since Jordan was doing the NXT thing, they didn't want to push Masha at a certain level, but it's like, okay, while she's gone doing that, you need somebody over here on a certain level. So when Jordan comes back, they feel credible to her. And they didn't do that with Masha until the match. Like everything leading up to the match, garbage. But when we got to the match, Masha felt like Masha again, and it was awesome, man. I can't go about this match any more than I can, bro. But like the counters, the strikes, the power moves, like the technicality of it all, it was this was fantastic, dude. This is the standard. When I talk about how much I love women's wrestling, this is the standard. These two women, when they go out there and do what they do, are the standard. So when y'all talking about your Liv Morgans and your Julia Harts and all that, I'm like, nah, bro. This right here, this is women's graps, bro. If it ain't that, don't talk to me about it. I'm done with it. So yeah, this was awesome, man. 5 stars.
yeah. Oh man, look, I definitely agree with you, man, Steven. I definitely agree with you. Boy, it was my match of the night, and and I want to split it because here's the thing, I want to split it. I want to split it in two ways. I want to say this as far as wrestling, and the match. This is my match of the night. As far as like what we could call it now, sports entertainment as far as that, I think the main event, it was my not the main event, the Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry was my favorite match of the night when it came down to like stuff like the entertainment. It was a lot of screwy but it was, but we'll get to that. But my bad. But this match right here had a lot of great moves. I know Bryce said he didn't want to go through most of these moves, but Bryce, I might have to do it for you. Man, she came. she she ran up the top rope with a hurricane runner. Nia hit her with the slow power right after that for a 2 count. I was like, oh my goodness, I ain't even know we were gonna get. That wasn't even nothing compared to what we were gonna get to later on in the match. The spinning heel kick that Bryce was talking about, that was beautiful. I wrote down. I was like, man, that was a beautiful move. I didn't even know what the move would call when she had did it because she did something. I ain't. It didn't look. It looked it right, but it didn't. It didn't look it. It looked at orthodox, as Jr. would say. And then it got the job done, but it looked beautiful at the same time. The burning, the when she came out with the knee into the burning hammer, I was like, oh,
Oh
okay,
my gosh.
Oh, that was
man,
crazy.
man, I was like, this match is busted, bro. bro, man. So, so don't get me wrong. What I do say this, but after all of that, she comes down with a superplex off the top rope. It looked like a superplex. They kept always calling it a snowplow, but it looked like a damn superplex to me. And into a power driver for the win, and it kind of you can hear it in the crowd a little bit. Like the crowd was thinking the match would go on just a tad bit longer, not a lot longer, but just a tad bit longer. Because we've seen all these other great moves. So you win with a superplex and a power driver. It's like, man, it looked like pretty 1980s. You know, at the same time, like, oh, that's what you want with. It's like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's the match of the night. I love this match, but it was just the ending that kind of a little bit like took the air out of me a little bit. And you could hear it in the crowd a little bit that it took the air out of them. They were cheering, but it was a light cheer because they were looking like, that's what we want with. After all those other great moves that we were seeing y'all do, it was like I said, nothing that's not going to take away from it being the match of the night.
No, it was definitely great. This was a hell of a match. Match was definitely awesome. You know, one thing I'll kind of go back to what Shaggy said when it talks about building up people on the roster, saying they should have been building up Masha, especially since Jordan Grace has been dominating through everybody ever since she won the title back in January, and just to a point where I even said that, like, damn, who else is on the roster for her to face? Because she's literally ran through everybody that they had to put her on NXT just to find some new competition and stuff. Because now they have to go back to somebody that, you know, she already beat. But I had to say before, I'm like, Masha's got to win this time, right? Because, like, yeah, she lost her before. I know it was a few years ago, but it's like we got to build up somebody. Like I said, the story makes no sense. But, you know, once we got to the match, it was a hell of a match. But even how they made Jordan Grace just look so dominant for several months now, finally, she ended up taking the L from here. And I know a lot of people are now going to start questioning now, is she going to WWE after this? Some are going to say, was this a pass on the torch moment? I know she's still under TNA contract, still for a good while. Apparently, it's supposed to be up in January, if I'm not mistaken, because it was going to be like mid-July, but I guess they came to a deal. So, is she on her way to WWE or not, given that we had the title change here? Because, hell, they could have had Jordan Grace, go over, if they wanted to. But even I thought that would have made no sense because it's almost like, well, damn, is Masha actually ever going to beat Jordan Grace? No. And now, at least now this opens up, some different feuds now and different challengers for Masha, because it got to a point where Jordan Grace is like, well, damn, who hasn't she beaten in TNA yet? Like she didn't beat everybody, like literally
More than
everybody. Like
once.
more than once too. Like if it gets to the point, like damn, you got to go on to somebody else's show and start beating them. Then like, well, damn, she got to go to NXT and start beat. Oh hell, they've sent random NXT people to TNA for like the whole open challenge thing for Jordan Grace to beat. So it's like he's ran through like some people from NXT. Not maybe not the top people from NXT, but ran through people nonetheless. So yeah, it kind of got to the point where it's like, well, damn, who else was gonna be left? So I feel like Masha had to win here. She had to win. So now at least this opens up the door for at least some new feuds and challenges. Now, will it be a rematch with her and Jordan Grace? I don't know. It could be. I'm not sure. Do I think Jordan Grace is on her way out the door after this? Possibly, but she still has a lot of time in her contract left. But all I can say is we gonna see.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, man. I can't say too much more about this match.
Yeah,
I mean, I
did
don't
you
know
get?
about the contract stuff, but I definitely got that vibe with the next match because I was like, why didn't we do what we needed to do? But we'll get to that.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do y'all think she's on her way out the door or nah? That
I
was my
mean,
question.
I don't know because there have been at least 2 times where her contract did come up, and I thought, all right, well, maybe this is the time that she's going to move on to greener pastures, but she stayed. And I guess the only difference this time is now the old man isn't in charge at WWE, and we've been seeing what Jordan looks like on WWE television now. So maybe it's more enticing to her now than it was in the past. So I don't know. I mean, I I'd say she's done all she can do in TNA twice, 3 times over at this point. So I mean, yeah, why not go somewhere else and take that plunge? Why not? I mean, I already expected her to be in the Royal Rumble, whether that was as a WWE superstar or not. But yeah, I'm all for it. Give me that Bianca match, man.
Yeah, I feel like they would have to move her up to the main roster. Honestly, I don't even think she even really need to stick in NXT like that. They would have to put her on the main roster. Like
Well, need and what they would do are 2 different things. Because remember, they were going to put the guns on NXT before the Lucha Brothers thing fell through.
Thank God they.
And if you're putting the guns on NXT, then anybody's going to NXT.
Yeah, I remember when I heard that, I was like, they are too big to be going to NXT. Like, I was like, thank God they didn't go to NXT because I thought that would look ridiculous.
Same.
So yeah, we gonna see with Jordynee Grace whether depending how long she will stick around and that. Because like I said, they have built her as one of the most dominant knockouts champions in TNA. Like given she lost it now, I don't know what's gonna happen next. So all I can say is we'll have to find out and see. But now we move on to the TNA World Heavyweight title match, which I'm very surprised this was not the main event of this show. But given to what I saw, I can understand why this wasn't the main event of the show. Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry. Frankie Kazarian was the special guest referee. He came out there with his Call Your Shot trophy with him. Joe Hendry, they had like a big cinematic video package, which somebody said it was like a mixture of his theme song and Eminem's Lose Yourself, because, it's Detroit, so you kind of had that vibe going on with him kind of walking around the streets of Detroit and kind of training and whatnot. I'm not saying he was going to start playing Lose Yourself because they probably would have had to pay money to play that song, but he came out then with a chainsaw, down like some Texas Massacre type shit. And, obviously he does his big entrance. Everybody's, singing along. I believe in Joe Hendry, which even, Ace Steel had to, kind of motivate him, saying like, you've been doing this for over 10 years. This is your time. You're finally getting your big title shot. Now go out there and kill it. Nick Nemeth came out there. I feel like what Shaggy said. What'd you say? It's like the like Guns N' Roses theme song, but like his discount version of it.
Oh, yeah, like Wish Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Timu Guns N' Roses.
He's a wanted man. He's a wanted man. And
apparently that's Downstate. That's the same band that does Cody's theme, although you would never know that by how it sounds.
Really? They made a lot of people's theme songs. That's really Downstate, huh? Oh, damn, I thought it was some other people that made that song. He's a wanted man. Fans chanted "fuck Ohio" at Nick Nemeth. Detroit really hates Ohio, I see, because he's from Cleveland, right? Nemeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, there's a reason why SummerSlam didn't sell out, because they went to Cleveland. That's why. Just don't go to fucking Cleveland. That's why they didn't sell out for that. But this match, though, like I said, it was the crowd really did wake up for this, because they really were behind Joe Hendry in this match, that they believed he was gonna win the TNA World title here. In a way, I did somewhat too, but I'm like, given this is not the main event, I felt like this was gonna go out different. One thing to count through this match, obviously, is Frankie Kazarian being the special guest referee. There were times where he just kind of stopped counting at one point, and even kind of getting outside teasing he was going to cash in his, Call Your Shot gauntlet trophy, which even when, Hendry got out the ring and told him, like, no, you're not cashing it in. Like, go back and referee. I like what Kazarian said. Don't touch my trophy like that, you mark. Like, I thought it was funny. It was funny when you go back and look at Hendry and his entrance, then like you can hear Kaz in the background saying like, your mother sucks. She was telling some fan that in the crowd, like, your mother sucks or something. That
I never
that
heard that.
that was hilarious. One thing I thought was impressive was like that fast count Kazarian did, and Hendry was able to kick out of it. Because like Nemeth hit the famouser, and Kazarian did like a real fast count. And, like it was some good timing from Hendry just to kick out that fast, like right the two. Cause I was like, damn, that was a fast count. That was some good timing right there to get out of it that
Yeah,
fast.
that was clean.
Man, that was really good. But like I said, throughout this match, both guys kept going at it. They end up kind of knocking each other out with I mean, it was like a double super kick, which even to the point where Kazarian just started counting in because both men were on the ground. But then he just kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna try to cash in my Collier Shot Gauntlet trophy. Next thing you know, JBL walks through the crowd. He gets a big pop. JBL gets in the ring, hits a clothesline from hell. I guess you could say this is the ref bump because he ended up taking out the referee. So Kazarian's out. He can't cash in his trophy. And then, Hendry starts arguing with Bradshaw then. And then Bradshaw just clothesline a hell on him after that, which the crowd was somewhat kind of surprised at. That they end up having to even sending out another referee then. Nemeth, like, he doesn't even know what's going on. He hits Hendry with the danger zone. Hendry still kicks out of it. And he hits a standing ovation, but Nemeth still kicked out. He ended up hitting with a super kick in after that. And then hitting the danger zone one more time. And Nemeth still retained the TNA world title. So I figured JBL was going to get involved in this one way or another. We've seen JBL pop up on TNA. Like, this is probably the third time we've now seen him pop up in a world title match. Like, we still don't know the explanation of why JBL is with Nemeth. We don't know. We don't know if JBL will ever just come out on Impact and why he's with Nemeth. And I'm sure Hendry is probably going to say something on Thursday now talking about, because he said it before, is JBL going to get involved in this match? And now it happened. And I'm sure Nemeth is just kind of good. One other thing to count too, we saw Ryan Nemeth kind of get involved, wondering why JBL was out there, and JBL took him out. So
yeah, that was random.
So that was just kind of random. I'm like, oh, Ziggler's brother is here. Just random. He just randomly shows up, and then he gets knocked down too. But obviously, this looked like it pissed off a lot of people because they thought Hendry was gonna win. And hell, we probably thought Kazarian was going to cash in and take the world title from here. But obviously that did not happen. So he still keeps the trophy is still intact. So we don't know when he's going to cash it in. But I can understand why this was not the main event of the show, especially all the screwy stuff that happened in this world title match.
Yeah, when I came into this show, I thought this was the night that Masha and Joe Hendry were winning their titles. And Masha got hers, but as soon as the next match was announced as this match, I said, "Oh, a lot of people about to be mad. This ain't about to go the way they're thinking it's going to go." And I thought that was because Joe Hendry was still going to win, and then Frankie would cash in immediately on him afterwards. I didn't think still that Nick Nemeth was just going to beat him. I didn't think Nick Nemeth was leaving this show with that title, but here we are, and it's kind of confusing to me because the first time they put Joe Hendry in this position, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the moment." I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it's when they did that six-way or whatever, and everybody just expected, because of how popular Joe Hendry became, that he should have won the world title in there. And then that's when Josh turned on him and eliminated him. And I, at the time, was like, yeah, he shouldn't have won because they didn't do any work to put him in that position. They just slated him in this match because he was popular, but they didn't do any kind of build outside of him just being popular to make him be the guy at that time. But this time, they actually did the work. They actually built up to this moment, and they still didn't give it to him. So it's like, I don't really know what we're doing here. So when you were talking about contract stuff with Jordan Grace, I was like, well, what's going on with Joe Hendry? Because this right here, more than that other match, felt like the time to do it, and they still didn't do it. And I'm like, there has to be something more to it. There's no way you're just going to drag this out and then give him the title like a month later when you could have done it on the biggest show of the year. It just doesn't make any kind of sense to me unless they're just never going to give him the title and he's going to leave sooner than later, because otherwise you should have just done it. As far as the match goes, I thought the match was cool. coming off the last match, that's my kind of wrestling. That's what I like out of wrestling. So to follow it up with this, like Kyle said, more sports entertainment-y stuff, I was kind of like, yeah, it's fine. It's better than earlier matches, but it's not reaching the height of what I just saw, because that match was tailor-made for me, But it was cool. It was fine. It just, once we got down to the JBL stuff, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Is this to build to more Joe Hendry adversity? Because I think we're there. I don't think we need any more of that. You got to strike now, because either he's going to leave and take that popularity with him, or y'all are going to strike too late with this world title thing, and you're not going to get it at the height of what could have been. And one of those two situations are not good either way. So I don't see why they didn't just do it here. And the fact that they didn't, I don't know what that means. But yeah, the match was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, now we get to talk about this match and how I felt about it. It's like I said, I have to split it up in two. Like, the sports entertainment part of me, really like this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like sports entertainment. I'm not gonna lie, I love wrestling. Don't get me wrong. The Demon Legos and all that stuff. I love wrestling, but I also love stuff like this. And this was like right up my alley too. And like, the match started off good. I had wrote down, like, I was confused. Like, what, Joe Hendry was supposed to be, Eminem character off for 8 Mile or something? I ain't understand that video package. Did he come out with a chainsaw? Did I hear a chainsaw? Because I kind of looked away for a minute, and then I saw him at the ramp.
Yes, he did come out with a chainsaw.
What was the point of that? Like, what was the point with the overalls? Like,
Halloween.
Halloween, I guess.
Halloween. All right, thank y'all. My bad. Michael Myers. I'm sorry. That blew over my head. I ain't gonna lie. I said that I had to finally write down the ring announcer is fucking gorgeous. I have to write that down. Like, man, Shorty is.
Oh, Jade? Yeah, she's beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, she's great. She looks great.
I had to finally wrote that down after seeing it throughout the whole night. But like, once I saw the video package earlier, before the pay-per-view started, and they showed that Frankie had won the call your shot gauntlet, I knew then, like, all right, cool, this gonna be some sports entertainment type of stuff, because he gonna eventually try to cash it in. And what she did, he tried to cash it in when they were both down, and then JBL came out. And on the side note, this JBL character right here, did he take a page off of Jeff Jarrett playbook a couple of years ago, a few years ago? I don't know. It just seemed like the same character to me. I don't know. But
Last Outlaw.
yeah, it seemed like the same character to me. That's how I feel. But he, when he took out Frankie and took out, I ain't know what the whole ordeal with him and Joe. He was whispering to Joe, then Joe was like, "Whoa!" Then he hit him with the short arm clothesline, and I was like, "I guess this is it right here." And so they should have ended it there, right then and there. He goes back into the ring. He get hit with the zigzag, whatever you want to call it, and handled right there. No, they let it go on for at least another 2-3 minutes as he fighting back. So it made me switch, like, oh man, they about to do it. Shit, he about to overcome the odds there. And then no, he still get hit with the zigzag, and it's still 1, 2, 3. If that was the case, you should have just ended it after JBL hit him with the short arm clothesline, put him back in the ring, and that's how it was. Bam! I'm like, oh, I don't know what was. I don't know. That finish was off to me a little bit. The whole match, the whole match was good, except for they didn't give the fans what they want, because what you're gonna do now is it's gonna be like a Goldberg situation back in '03, where they should have gave it to him at Survivor Series, and they waited until the month later to give it to him in a triple threat match. Like that, you should have just gave it to him when the fans wanted it, But
Perfect
now
analogy.
Because now it's gonna feel exactly the same way though, Steven. Because if anybody remember it, they had a pop. It was like a balloon, like a balloon. You know how a deflated balloon pop. It's like, yeah, yeah. We should have waited for this last month, man. Why you should have just do it, you know? But that's how they gonna feel. It's gonna be a pop, but it's gonna be a deflated one, and not everybody not gonna be aboard with just giving him the title right away because I think they just gonna give it not right away, but right after. I'm sorry, y'all. You have a car. I am sorry. My Bluetooth is connected to the thing. It's connected to my phone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay. It's
But
cool.
but now the fans is waiting for something that they should have got it now, and you probably gonna give it to the fans because the fans gonna be mad at you. You go hear it on social media every day, and then everybody go, "Oh, okay, we gonna give it to him." Nah, man, that you should have. They go ahead and just gave it to him. Well, how long we gonna wait now?
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Because it's like, how long can you keep really building this up? Are they gonna wait till Genesis now in January to finally put the title on him? Like, what are we
Facts.
supposed to go on from here now? Because like Shaggy said, is his contract coming up? Because I'm sure the WWE probably do want Joe Hendry ever since he kept popping up on NXT, going for the damn NXT title at that point in time. And like oh, go ahead.
My bad. And I want to say one more thing with this. Remember our last pay per view with all three of us, and I said it was cool that they didn't do it right then and there, and what everybody was clamoring for. I think that was like early in the summer that we were doing
Anniversary.
it's right, and
Yeah,
I
that
was like,
6-way.
yeah, that's cool that they didn't do it, and we should wait until it was now. That I was like around October, November. I'm like, if it's the same type of um what can you say? The same type of feel that they got around him, like the same type of aura. He still got the same type of aura, and the fans are still with him. By the time we get here, and then she'll crown them right there to there. But nah, now they messed up. They call themselves, being too cute, man. They being too cute with the finish. Like, now you gonna have the fans looking at you like, no. They probably didn't give it to him in a not even waited till their next pay per view, right? I think they would probably do it in a random TNA, a random TNA episode. Real talk.
On a
Possibly.
pre-recorded
Yeah,
weekly show.
pre-recorded and that live is not, or whatever the next Plus show is. I don't know, maybe the next Impact Plus show. I'm not even really sure, because like you just said, like we talked about this at Slammiversary. We didn't want to give him the title now, just off of his popularity. But like we've already said, there's actually been build. Adversity. They took in their time to build this now, and put this feud on their biggest show of the year. So you would kind of think he would win it, but once again, given this wasn't the main event of the show, it was already kind of telling he wasn't gonna win. So I don't know if they, like I said, are they gonna build it up to Genesis, or is it just gonna be on some random episode of TNA in the next few weeks? I don't know. And once again, his contract, we don't know how long his contract is. I've already said it before. I'm sure WWE has been trying to get him since he popped up in NXT those many. Like, come on, he main evented a damn NXT pay-per-view not that long ago. So they probably want to try to get him. So unless TNA already knows that he's not sticking around like that, then maybe, I don't know. It's not like TNA hasn't capitalized off the popularity like they have. They took their time to build it, but just given just like the entire overbooking, if you want to say, of this world title match, just with Kazarian out there, if he's going to cash in the whole call your shot gauntlet, or just JBL just popping up and clothesline the hell out of people. Because, like, where is that going to play into the story? Is Nemeth even going to turn heel at this point and be aligned with JBL? Because he's kind of acting oblivious. Like, even when he was questioned about it a few weeks ago, he just kind of dodged the question and You know, like, yo, you're in the ring with one of the best, basically, not even addressing the whole JBL interference stuff. So unless something plays into that, or Hendry's gonna get mad saying like, I had you beat until JBL got involved, or if Kazarian wasn't out there, I had you beat. Like, is it gonna keep building to something else? Because right now I've already seen people going on like, oh, he's headed to WWE, folks. That's why they didn't put the title on him, because he's headed to WWE. Like, we don't know that. But, you know, the clues are kind of there at the same time. So,
I mean, it's so strange. Like that's like if Cody didn't win at WrestleMania last year and then he won it at Backlash. Like, why would you at your biggest show not crown
Bingo.
the guy
Beautiful
that
analogy.
everybody is clamoring for? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. That's why I said maybe it's a contract thing and he's just not going to get the title at all, because it just doesn't make any sense to me how it behooves anybody that on your biggest show you didn't give him the title. And I don't understand. Like, you did the work this time. Just follow through. Like, the job is done. Just put the title in it again, bro. Like,
TNA kind of screwed themselves with this night, though. Real talk, like you had some parts that were good. Don't get me wrong. Like the Slamovich Grace match was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The first match was great. The Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin, except for the finish, was great. It's like it's certain stuff that you did wrong in this night or this night that it kind of the reason why y'all get set back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I know, no disrespect to TNA, they brought themselves out the Rumble, especially this year. But it's certain things make you think like this is the reason why y'all get set back a little bit, cause y'all y'all don't know how to make book finishes happen. Sometimes y'all kind of iffy when it comes down to putting matches where it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like this match was supposed to be Joe, and it was supposed to be the main event. Like, to be perfectly honest here, and if you wanted to still throw out the little shenanigans out there, you could have still threw out a couple of shenanigans. You could have still threw out JBL. You could have still did the freaking pretending like he was about to cash in. You could have still did all of that. But at the end of the day, it should have been Joe Hendry arm raised in the air while the crowd going stupid.
like either that, or you could just ended off the show with a cliffhanger then by doing all this stuff too, get people guessing when they go off the air or something like that. But like, one other thing I've seen people already say, like, oh, well, if Scott D'Amore was booking this, he would have put the title on him. Like, are you sure? Like I don't know who's booking this show all the way nowadays since Scott D'Amore been got out of Dodge, but I don't know. Like, maybe would have put the title on him. I'm not sure. But it does make you question, like I said, why this wasn't the main event, and just why do all these shenanigans? Like, where is this really gonna lead to? Because it's like, is it gonna lead him to the title? Is he still gonna be going after the title? I don't know. Because, like, come on, it was a different referee that came out and counted because Kazarian got taken out. So I feel like it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of now questions coming out of this. So maybe something it'll be explained on Impact this Thursday. I don't know, but it's just like I already knew something screwy was going to happen when this wasn't going to be the main event. So
What can they explain though, right? Like we fucked up. Hey, we didn't get him the title. Like, man, there's nothing they can explain. It's already the proof is in the pudding. It's like we seen what happened. Y'all
yeah,
didn't get him the title.
because you can't, because now it's like, and I'll say this before we kind of move on. It's like, when you got people like you want to strike while the iron's hot. You don't want to do it immediately while it's hot, but you at least want to take some time to build it. So when you do win the title, it'll be a even bigger pop and whatnot. Because like you just don't want to keep having someone in a title picture and they never win the big one. Hell, we were just saying that about Jey Uso not that long ago. You can't just have him in title matches all the time and then he loses all the time. It's like he's got to win at some point, because if he keeps losing, the fans are gonna stop believing in.
Yeah,
facts.
So like you got to do it, and they end up doing that. So I don't know. Like I really don't know. Just a very questionable decision here. So yeah, like I said, it's a lot of questions more than answers out of this. But now I'm going on into the main event. Full Metal Mayhem, or I like to call the Jeff Hardy match, basically a TLC match. The Hardys, the System, ABC, which let me point one thing about this match is this. Yes, it's Full Metal Mayhem. It's all of Jeff Hardy's face on everything, no. On the ladders, on the chairs, on the tables, even on the canvas in the ring. Everything's all Jeff Hardy. Everything. Like the whole match is just straight up full on Jeff Hardy. So like I said, it's okay. Well, Shaggy had to dip out now, so yeah, okay. So I'm gonna kind of go through this as best as I can since he dipped out of this now. Here's the thing: it's a TLC match. You know how crazy this is gonna get, but like the match itself, to tell you, Kyle, it's a TLC match, but it's all of Jeff Hardy's face. So like, it's some cool looking artwork. Jeff Hardy knows how to he hand painted all this stuff. He hand painted the canvas. He hand painted all the tables. He hand painted all the chairs and the ladders. Okay, but this was a car crash like you expected it to be, because like immediately they start going after the System and they kind of beat them up going on into the crowd. Then one move that me and Shaggy said this too, the twist of fate into a neck breaker looks cool, that Jeff will do a twist of fate and somebody will fly in midair, then Matt hits a neck breaker on you in midair, which looks pretty cool. But they fight into the crowd. They end up putting Eddie Edwards throughout one of the tables outside. Then there was like a point where they kind of came back into the ring, and Jeff had this very flat ladder, which it's like a construction ladder, which they kind of messed it up because like they couldn't fix it. It's like the ladder kept extending. It's like a small ladder, but then it's like they kept pulling out that it looks like a giant bridge, that they had a very hard time, even setting up this very flat like ladder. They couldn't even stand it up. That even ABC even had to kind of stand it up almost, and it did not look good. That they just made it like a bridge at one point. And like I said, they got chairs involved, trying to knock each other off the ladders. Then fans started to chant Edge's bitch once the System came back. Fans chanted fuck the System. Then they end up taking out the Hardys with chairs after that. They end up trying to climb the ladders, but the ABC got back involved. Then one cool move was Chris Bay doing like a big art of finesse, like he springboarded off the ropes, and I think Brian Myers was like kind of like almost to the titles up top, but like Chris Bay caught some good hang time in the air. Like the move looked clean as hell. Like go back and look at that. That was kind of crazy. But like good springboard cutter. But like I said, we got tables involved in, people going through those. And even they end up recreating the WrestleMania 17 spot because Chris Bay climbed up the ladder. He hung in the air, and Brian Myers up hitting like a spear on him off the turnbuckle, off the ladder, taking him down. So like if WrestleMania 17 with Edge Spear and Jeff Hardy in midair, that's what it looked like here. Like same spot WrestleMania 17, fans going holy shit then. And Jeff ended up pulling another ladder out the ring, a 20-foot ladder, which of course Jeff has got to do something crazy. So Jeff jumped off the 20-foot ladder doing a swan tom on Eddie Edwards, which it looked like Jeff hit the back of his head on like the rung of the ladder, because it's like he jumped off it and he landed on him, but it looked like he was so close to the ladder that he hit his head on it. It looked pretty scary then. But then, Alicia Edwards comes out then with like a kendo stick then, trying to take out the ABC. Matt Hardy gets back in the ring because she ended up taking off her neck brace, and Matt hit her with a twist of fate then, taking her out. Eddie's back with the kendo stick, taking out Matt. Oh, sorry, it was Myers that went through that table, by the way. But Matt ended up climbing up the ladder then. Matt and Jeff ended up powerbombing Eddie Edwards to the outside, to ringside. Putting them through like two tables, and then the Hardys climbed up the ladder, and now they're the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. So this is what ended off the show, was Full Metal Mayhem. So the Hardys are once again Tag Team Champions.
So let
Crazy spots.
Let me get this straight. So you wanted to end the night, give it a Tag Team Championship to a team that had multiple Tag Team Championships that could have won They could have had this 4-man mayhem in the middle of the match or something. I mean, in the middle of the night. They could have had it anywhere. They didn't have to have this as the main event. Even if I'm hearing all the stuff that you're saying, bro, I'm I'm just I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think this match should have been the main event. They screwed up with the main event. I don't think this match should have been the main event.
I think they wanted to send the crowd home happy.
They was yeah, they knew they were gonna get the title from Joe, so they wanted to give the crowd a pop with their old tag team, get an old good over tag team, no matter what year it is, they still over. And I understood that, but I think those two matches at the end of the night, they didn't really click well with me, and so that's why I like when you was like, before we started recording, and I was like, man, y'all could walk me through the main event because I couldn't, I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to watch it, especially after seeing Joe didn't win the title. So I kind of skipped out on that because of that.
Yeah, and looking at this match, obviously it was going to be a car wreck. It's a TLC match. It's just called Full Metal Mayhem. I just didn't understand, and when you look at it, I didn't understand why they had Jeff Hardy just like I call this the Jeff Hardy match because it's like everything out here was all painted in his image. Like if you know Jeff Hardy's artwork and all that, all his face paint, that's literally what was all over the whole ring, on the canvas, on the ladders, on the chairs, even the tables. Cool looking art design, but it's like, did this need to be the main event? And I was kind of like, okay, well, Jeff didn't kill himself out here, so good, even though he still tried to, but at least he got right back up. But this didn't need the main event. This could have been like even the co-main event or even before that. You knew it was going to be a crazy big spot match. You knew people were going to just do a whole bunch of crazy stuff out there. And the Hardys went in. I wasn't really surprised at them winning, given that this was the main event, and I know they wanted to send the crowd home happy, so I kind of figured the Hardys were gonna win anyways. I will say this too. A lot of people say at least this is better than where they were last time in AEW, and they seem to move better here than they did in AEW. Because back what they did in AEW, like damn, Matt Hardy was just limping all over the place, and it did not look good. And not to go into the AEW run that much because I know some people are going to say that, AEW did nothing with the Hardys, but I like that's a yes and a no thing. It's like, yeah, you can say that, but at the same time, Jeff Hardy just ended up fucking him, fucking up again, and that's what kind of killed their AEW run at the same time. Like, it's a lot to say about that, but I've enjoyed them back in TNA. I've seen them in TNA before many times. Hell, they've been the tag team champions here before many times, and they've done it again. And I think they had like a post promo. I saw a little of it, but it just ended up kind of blacking out. Once it was like some type of post thing going on. But I don't think this needed to be the main event. They just wanted to send the crowd home happy. And it's like you just said, it's like a tag team that we know that are over all the time, end up winning the tag team titles again in their specialty match, which is a TLC match, and having ladders involved. So I think they could have just ended off with the world title. I still think they should have did that. I was just thought it was confusing. Why is this show main event in the show? I really did not understand that. Like, I like the pay-per-view overall. One thing that's been said about when it comes to Bound for Glory in the past few years, people say Slammiversary looks better than Bound for Glory half the time. Because, like, it's been some years where Slammiversary is usually a better show. I'm not saying this was a bad show or anything, and we talked about the good and the bad through here. But, I still like this show. It was still really good, but there's still a lot of bad to pick from it, too. But I don't think this should have main evented.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed parts of it. I enjoyed it's just certain things that kind of took me out of it. But overall, TNA is still a good product that people should watch. And even though they got certain things wrong, for the most part, I feel like TNA do get their stuff together, and they got momentum. They still riding high, and so yeah, I don't have a real problem with the night, except when it comes down to in ring ability, because these guys know how to go. But it's just, certain things that did take me out. And I think they could do better, and I think they would do better.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed overall too, but it was just a few, like I said, some nitpicks that it could have been better in a way. Because, like, it's not like the crowd wasn't hot for the main event, but I like, this is what we really ended the main event on, a tag title match TLC. Like, this is what we're really ended off, and not the world title. But given what we saw in the finish of the world title, like, yeah, said earlier, it could have been a cliffhanger doing all that stuff you did, but I don't know, just an odd decision, I thought, of this being the main event, because I was very surprised once the world title match was the co-main event of the show. And I enjoyed mostly everything. I enjoyed the Knockouts title. I enjoyed the opener of the match, Maclin and Josh, before all the zip ties and all that. It was just some matches, like, after the X Division title, it's like what Shaggy said earlier. It peaked for a really good long time until, like, Moose and Santana came up.
It did. It peaked, and then when Moose and Santana came on, people got back up. And the women's championship was right after that. That kept people up. Um, for the most part, the world title kept people up until the finish. And I think that's where everything went back to being just like they. Of course, you go get people hyped for ladder matches. That's not anything. People get you know people see a car crash. They might get you go get a reaction out of people when they see car crashes. They're like that's not nothing. You go get a reaction out of people when they see people throwing themselves through ladders, throwing themselves through tables, throwing. Uh, going off a 20-foot ladder, you go get reactions. That's not nothing. But at the same time, it probably it fell flat. It really did. It could have been. You still could have got the same type of hype and the same type of pop in the middle of the night. But yeah, we can't keep on beating a dead horse. That's over. Hopefully TNA can recover for this and they can try to see what they can do with Joe Hendry especially.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most questionable things throughout the night is just the whole Joe Hendry Nemeth match, and why Hendry did not get the win here. Because I'm like we said earlier, like is it gonna build into something else? I don't know, but it's like I already said. Once I knew that wasn't gonna be the main event of the show, I think it was already kind of telling what was gonna happen. Because I'm like, well, damn, if this ain't main event in the show, what's main event in the show? And then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the ladder match is main event in the show. Okay, like damn, that could have been before the main event then, or even in the middle of the show, the ladder match. Like I got no problem. Like I said before, I have no problem with the Hardys winning. Like it's not like they've done it before. They're in a specialty match. It's just like this was really main event at the show because Jeff Hardy painted everything in his image. That could have been in the middle of the show, like literally. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd that the world title was still not the main event. Like I still enjoyed the show overall, though.
yeah. Like I said, I did too. I enjoyed the show overall.
So I do want to see what's going to happen on Impact this Thursday. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, it's some good and bad to pick off of this show. I guess what would you grade it?
I say because of the bad, they dropped it down to a C. Cause you got the good. It's a lot. It's a few goods in there, but it's quite a few bads in there, and quite a few okays. So it's like that kind of made it come down a little bit. The great are the, I, the truly great. I can't even because I can't even call the first match truly great. I just called it very good. To be perfectly honest, I ain't would have called it truly great, but at the same time, I would definitely call the Jordan Grace match a great move and Mike Santana a great match. Those two matches was great because it was just a lot of good matches and okay finishes. It kind of dropped it down to a C for me.
Okay. I do agree on the matches you just said, and even the X Division title one. Those like probably like maybe the top 3 ones out of the night. Um, yeah, I'm kind of rocking with you probably on that C, maybe a B minus, but I'm kind of more leaning into that C range, honestly. Just kind of just some of the decisions and some of the matches that happened where it was like I said, it was a good stretch where a lot of stuff wasn't really going on like that, and it was just kind of whatever. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was just kind of like an okay whatever type stuff, like the Knockouts tag titles and Cardona and PCO, and even Josh and Steve to some extent. So, yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of the C range in a way. I'm kind of leaning more towards than a B minus, but I still enjoyed the show overall. I thought Detroit was a pretty hot crowd when it was hot throughout the night. So, yeah, that's what I would say about Bound for Glory. But I still think it was a good show overall, though. Even if you didn't see the pre-show, I thought the Hall of Fame speeches were pretty good too. But obviously, it's a lot of questions now coming in the aftermath of Bound for Glory. So we'll see what happens on Impact this Thursday. But other than that, we're going to end this off right here. You got anything to plug before we get up out of here?
Oh no, just follow me on Twitter, straight face 40. That's about it.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got Halloween Havoc later on tonight, so we'll see what happens there too. I almost forgot it was another pay-per-view going on later on tonight.
Me too.
So yeah, so I just kind of remembered that. But yeah, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell. I'm out of here. We'll see y'all then for maybe the next review, which will probably be Survivor Series. Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
will
think
be Survivor Series.
yeah, Survivor Series. But other than that, we out of here. We see y'all then. Peace out.